Welcome to Kosher MGTOW, an opportunity for you to hear a perspective about men going their own way from a Jew, a conservative Jew. I'm not Orthodox, I'm not Reform. I know kosher prayers, I know Jewish prayers. I got a lot to discuss today about protecting your seed and talking about your seed and the good and the bad about your seed. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. When you take your ding-a-ling and you use it for various pleasures and things like that. Just want to brain dump a little bit for a moment to talk a little bit about how sex is basically overrated in many respects. Yes, it is a natural need, it is a natural urge. You have these animalistic tendencies where you want to have fun and get with as many women as conceivably possible. And in particular, for someone like me, I have a preference for wanting to be with an attractive woman, not with a woman that is significantly ugly or out of shape or has already had several children or is much older. I mean, that's not something that's intriguing to me. To have fun and get with any woman that I possibly see. If obviously I'm attracted much more so to a younger woman. I'm tall, so I would prefer to be with a taller woman. I am, I would say, between an athletic build and someone that is has a few extra pounds. So I don't mind if a woman has curves, big breasts, or a big bottom, or a big behind. I don't mind that. I don't mind a few extra pounds on a woman. I wouldn't necessarily enjoy being with a gigantic woman for great periods of time, but I'm not opposed to Amazons, those women that are 6 feet tall or taller. That doesn't bother me at all. Um, but that's just personal preferences. If you go on like a seeking website, you can look up different women based off of criteria. You could look up women based off of age, and I have a preference for younger women. If I had a choice, I would much rather prefer to be with somebody that's 30 or younger, even though I'm in my 40s. I prefer to be with a woman that's under 30. Obviously, they're more likelier to be in childbearing age, and they're naturally younger and more attractive. Haven't hit the wall yet. As far as uh, interests and as far as education, sure, I would probably prefer to be with somebody that's a little more educated. At least that rounds off the experience of being with a woman and adds to the conversation and the intellect and the dialect and everything else involved, the dialogue. But um, if you think about it, like these dating sites, a Tinder, a Facebook dating, a Plenty of Fish, a JDate, a Seeking Arrangements, a lot of scams, a lot of fake profiles, a lot of phishing, and there's significantly more men on a lot of these sites than women, and the women are only looking for the top 10% of men. I do not classify myself as a top 10% of men, despite the fact that I might have certain things in my favor. Having a couple of bucks doesn't hurt. Being tall doesn't hurt. But I mean, you have to be attractive. You have to have the qualities. And what these women are looking for nowadays is amazing. Women are looking for other women because they satisfy and pleasure each other better than men do in their eyes and in their feelings and emotions. They'd rather be with a man that has an authoritarian role and that has tattoos all over their arms and their legs and all over their bodies. And I'm tattoo free. I just don't believe in it. If you're going to have a proper Jewish burial and a particular casket, they've always said from the very beginning you shouldn't have tattoos. I'm going off in 700 different directions and I'm veering away from the main point. Uh, if you're listening to this, I mean, you have to understand something. When you're shooting your seed, this is This is literally 3 to 8 seconds of pleasure, 3 to 8 seconds of euphoria. And when that 3 to 8 seconds of euphoria and excitement and pleasure and orgasm and climax is done, you have this post nut clarity. You have this overarching thought that just propels into your brain. And the first thought is, you know, was this worth it? Unfortunately, that is something that pops in people's minds. And then, the next step is, um, you know, what do I do from here? Do I have sex again? Do I kick the person out? Do I shoot another set of swimmers somewhere? Some people talk about how if they have this period of no FAP or not having any orgasms whatsoever for weeks and months at a time, that it just totally changes them and rejuvenates them. I could see that possibly working for 3 days to 7 days to, reboot your system. But other than that, the long term effects of that I don't think are beneficial. You gotta let the steam out. But at the same time, it's sex in general. You're gonna have good sex, you're gonna have bad sex, and then you're gonna have a lot of sex that's just mediocre. Much like if you were to go out to dinner someplace. You might go to one fast food joint that has everything hot, piping hot and tasty, and everything's fresh, and then you'll go somewhere where they just serve all old food, and it's just not worthwhile. It's like, it's overrated. It's overrated. If you're shooting your seed more than once a day, you're ruining yourself. Your brain is just gonna isn't gonna. You're not gonna be as ambitious. You're not gonna be as interesting. You're not even gonna want to go out and conversate with people. You're gonna be in your own little cocoon. You're not going to want to branch out. You're not going to want to do as much as far as work. You're going to be slower. You're going to be more lethargic. So, like, everything in moderation. They always preach that. They preach that about alcohol and food and smoking and everything else. Taking recreational drugs and all those other things. I mean, I just don't think, like, if you're under the belief as a MGTOW that you have to be with different women every day, every hour, on the hour, and shooting here and shooting there and throwing your hot dog down the hallway all the time, you don't have to. It's probably taking you away from your goals and ambitions, your dreams and desires and business, and it's even taking you off course as far as where you want to be spiritually and in every which way. I mean, if you find somebody that tickles your fancy, if it's one person and that's what you're cool with, and you guys can get together once a week, once every other day, uh, get your jollies off and just go about your business. I mean, that's MGTOW. That's free agent lifestyle. You can keep it fresh and airy and keep it open. See other women if you want, but it's like, I don't think being with 20 different women at a time every day of the week, it just doesn't seem to. It's just in the long run, you're just not gonna be as productive. I mean, you might be satisfying an instinctual need in your mind that you're doing something and accomplishing something by throwing your seed everywhere, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case. So, I know I'm jumping around all over the place, but um, in terms of focus and in terms of your seed, and in terms of being Jewish, and in terms of your finances and your career, you got to look at it all as a big picture in a perspective. You're going to have urges. You're going to want to have sex. You're going to have urges and you're going to want to eat. You're going to have urges and you're going to want to drink. occasionally, maybe all the time. It all depends on your threshold and what you can handle. There might be times where you just have the urge to relax and not have to deal with anybody or anyone or anything and just chill out and get sleep. Uh, but in order to really clear your mind of the whole entire situation, I think you have to understand your experiences with women and how you've been able to handle them in the past. If you're the kind of person that uh, adores women and wants to be with women and wants to consume their entire day from morning through night to get with women and throw your seed all over the place. I mean, if that's what gets your jollies, I guess I understand. I just think that it's really overrated. Yeah, I'm just repeating myself. Look, if you understand yourself and your body and your experiences with women, I think you'll have an understanding of the fact that these women, uh, they don't mind jumping from one dork to another dork. They just don't. They just don't. They don't mind being with every dork that they find attractive. And in particular, if they're with a steady individual and then they find somebody that's better on the hypergamous scale, if they find a top 1%, 5% man, they'll drop everything that they have and they'll try to get with that better guy. That's just in their nature. So, uh, I guess this is the part where I'm like, you can't take this seed that seriously. It's in your head. A lot of it is in your head, and every guy reacts differently. Everybody's attracted to different things and likes different things. Some men like to have sex constantly. Some men just would prefer to get head. Some men would just prefer to um, go to a massage parlor and just get the handy handy and be done with it. I mean, some. I mean, you can read up on it. There's some places where literally you go somewhere and you have a brief interlude, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, get your seed out with whomever and just be done with it. It doesn't matter if they're Jewish or not. I mean, look, it's up to you. I mean, I personally think like if you seldomly get with women, keep you on course. If you limit the amount of no of fapping once a day, man, once a day. That's really all you need. You don't need to go overboard. And as far as the rest of society, look, when you're at home by yourself, you're in your own world. I mean, you don't have to worry about the outside world and what everyone else is doing. It's basically what you want. If it's legal and it's something you want to do it. You don't want to take advantage of people. You don't want to make people feel badly. I mean, if you choose that you want to get with a woman or multiple women 1 day a week, 5 days a week, I mean, that's totally up to you. This isn't about telling you what to do and how to do it. This is really about knowing yourself and knowing your limitations and being a man going on their own way. It is your own way. So, first of all, say your blessings. Be grateful for certain things. Maybe you woke up this morning. Maybe you were able to stand up and get out of bed. Maybe you were able to see out of both of your eyes. Maybe you were able to hear, taste, smell, feel. I got a family member that can't even do half of that right now. It's eating me up alive, but that's a totally separate story. But you just gotta have your blessings. If you can wake up and if you can get with a woman and if you can get hard and if you can do things and fornicate and you can get women and great, it's all a blessing. Just enjoy it for what it is. If it is 3 to 8 seconds of pleasure with 20 minutes of foreplay, it is what it is. If it's lousy and you don't enjoy it, and it's old food, or it's cold food, or I'm equating one to the other, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. This is getting a little long, so I gotta wrap this up. You gotta make different things a priority. You gotta have a priority list. You have to write things down. You have to write down what you like, and I think you'll get more out of it if you understand yourself better than if you were just to listen to anybody else. So I just totally recommend that you don't waste your seed by just getting with 30 women a day, or just uh, jerking 20 times a day. It's not getting you anywhere, man. Study the course. Be focused. Know what you're about. Kosher MGTOW would like to hear your comments, questions, whatever you might have. This is a small channel, guys, girls, whoever's listening. I'm curious about your perspective. What do you think about seed? Kosher MGTOW.